So hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the episode number 3 of the Robert Jones to Glory. My player Robert Jones here. And this is gonna be a very big episode because this episode not only we're gonna have some cracking Premier League action, but also to complement our Premier League action is gonna be transfer deadline day, which matters to Robert Jones a lot because what that does is Robert Jones is already grown by 3 and he's now a 69 rated player, Robert Jones, by 3. So what that does is, so that's gonna, if Leicester decide to sign a striker, which they have, so the news is that Leicester City have signed a new striker. So transfer deadline day hasn't gone all too well for Robert Jones because Wout Weghorst has signed for Leicester, and they've also signed the Brazilian young talent Bardiera. So Leicester have signed 2 players, which is like quite criminal. I would say Robert Jones is now the 4th highest rated striker at the club now. They've got Weghorst and they've got Bardiera. So it's gonna be tough for Robert Jones. Transfer deadline day, you can argue, wasn't the best for Robert Jones, but he just has to keep his head down. Leicester are gonna play in the Europa League as well this month, so might just might help Robert Jones. You never know. But now we gotta move on to the next match, and we've got a news. It's the news. It's the big news. Robert Jones has been selected as the player of the episode here. Player of the month. Robert Jones, August player of the month. Excellent from Robert Jones. He's played 4 matches, he scored 4 goals, Robert Jones. An excellent August for Robert Jones, and that's now a big statement because there are some crucial players in the squad, but well, Robert Jones is in there. He's not gonna give his number to anybody. If Rodgers gives him opportunity, he has to live up to that. But what a start for this young talent. First month in the Premier League, and he's already achieved what many people desire to achieve. So excellent from Robert Jones. And then we've got a message. And we have been picked. Robert Jones, ahead of Wout Weghorst, ahead of Bardenez, has been picked for the match against Fulham. So it's Leicester City versus Fulham. Robert Jones, the August player of the month, coming up against Fulham. This is gonna be big for Robert Jones. This is gonna be big. Hopefully he can do well. After that, it was a kind of a bittersweet for Robert Jones because the sweet part was that he had won the player of the month, but the bitter part was that Leicester signed 2 strikers. But first of all, moving to the sweet part of things, and that was James Madison's message to Robert Jones on congratsing him. And James Madison has congrats him, and Robert Jones has to say him thank you. Excellent for Robert Jones. Excellent achievement from him. And one of the best players in Leicester. Congratulating him. Excellent. Well, we talked about the bitter part and the sweet part, where the bitter part was about Brendan Rodgers signing 2 other strikers. But Robert Jones has asked Brendan Rodgers that he thought he could have done the job. But Brendan Rodgers has told him that he's a good player and he was looking at his option. And he's told him to keep working hard. So that will be it for now. Let's go. Here we go then, guys. Robert Jones. He knows that this is gonna be a crucial game for him because this is his first game after since he became the player of the month in August. But not only that, the club have signed 2 young they've signed Wout Weghorst and they've signed 1 young Brazilian talent who's almost 10 ratings up than Robert. And Robert Jones needs to really gear up if he needs to have any chance of doing something out here. And here is Robert Jones. Here he is again. He'll pass it on to Madison. He'll have that again from James Madison. Has a pop, but that's not good from Robert Jones. But I can guarantee you, Robert Jones, he scored 4 goals in the month of August. He was the player of the episode then, and that's an excellent thing to have when you're just playing your first month. And he's in here deep. And 2 strikers signed by Leicester. We're all wondering why Leicester wouldn't sign anybody. But they did, and they were 2 strikers. Honestly, Robert Jones was a bit, you would say, unhappy, but you can't deny that Leicester are a big club and they will sign players. And the player to watch out for is Robert Jones. He's found Youri Tielemans, who's found Robert Jones. Can't reach there, Robert Jones. This is a very big game for Robert Jones. You just can't deny this. This is arguably the game that might keep or give away Robert Jones's place. He's not gonna play every game from now on, but what this game will do is it will certainly make up his chances. And great save, Alfonso Areola. Yeah, I messed up, but who cares? But it's been a quiet first half, you would say. Here's Robert Jones again, finding himself in a situation where he can run at players. Here's Robert Jones, more of a playmaker, you would say. Here's Robert Jones. Robert Jones, what a hit! Whoa, what a hit from Robert Jones across the goalkeeper. I forgot to do a celebration, but whoa, Robert Jones, that's fiery from Robert Jones. We said at the start of the series, he's not the proper number 9. He's the one who would get through defenders. And that's a big statement for Robert Jones. Because who knows, he's probably not going to get 90 minutes this game. So he has to look to play well in whatever minutes he gets, whatever time period that he has on the pitch. Here's Robert Jones in here. He's seen Tielemans. Oh, Robert Jones, he's got an assist. Robert Jones, if he's not scoring, he's creating now. And they all run up to Brendan Rodgers. They know that it's a winning game, and that's the fitting celebration. Robert Jones, not selfish, just playing it and opening up the space. Tielemans does the rest. His first goal in the Premier League, Youri Tielemans. And that might well be it for Robert Jones. It isn't. Well, honestly, I didn't think we'll play 90 minutes this game. We still might not play. But I think we've survived till the 80th minute is a big thing. And here's Robert Jones. He's just too tired here, Jones. He's playing it in for Shangasanda, if I'm not wrong. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. He's passed it on. Oh, excellent. Excellently done. Robert Jones. Oh, no. Well worked move from Leicester. But Robert Jones couldn't get on the end of it. He's got on the end of it now. But that's again down and out. But Leicester, they're doing something out here. And Johnny Evans has made an error. Johnny Evans has made a grave error out here. And Peter Schmeichel to the rescue. Johnny Evans messed that up big time. Sub of Robert Jones, mate. He's tired. Robert Jones, he has no strength left. Sub of him. You've signed 3 strikers, mate. Now Leicester, we just have to survive this game. At any cost, we just have to survive this. Because this is a big one, okay? This is a really big one. And Robert Jones asking for the ball here. Doing a bit of hold-up play. Can't do it. Then here come Fulham. Come on, we can't lose this. Come on. It's in added time and we've done it. We've done it. Robert Jones can just pray that on. And that's it. Leicester City have won against Fulham away from home. And Robert Jones is at the center of it all again. 10 chances. He's just amazing, Robert Jones. He's got 1 goal. He's got 1 assist. He just played amazing football then, Robert Jones. Excellently done. And now we move on. Leicester have signed so many strikers. Robert Jones is getting to make his... Oh my days, I can't believe this, but Robert Jones is getting to make his European debut in the Europa League. And Europa League is a competition Leicester are in. So this is going to be tough for Robert Jones. And not only that, Leicester have got Roma in their group. I'm not sure whether Leicester have Roma in their group in real life or not. But in the game they have. They must have them in real life. But I'm not too sure about that. But we move on here. We just move on. Robert Jones. It's a big match for Robert Jones here. His European debut here against. I just can't pronounce this team, to be honest. I just can't pronounce this team. Let's try once. SCR Altach. I can't say them, but here it is. His European debut. It's away from home, but it's the European debut of Robert Jones. And after a good win in the Premier League, Robert Jones has to be careful in there. His European adventure. And here he is, asking for the ball from Wilfred Ndidi. He's playing in Harvey Barnes here. Robert Jones, excellently done. He's the big man in there. Robert Jones, in 6 minutes. In just 6 minutes, Robert Jones, he's done it. He kicks the corner flag. I didn't mean to do that, but everybody is on Robert Jones. European debut, European goal. How good is this young lad? Just how good is this young lad? I can't resist this. Like, he's just too good, mate. He is outrageously good. He is. Oh my days. You know what? Off YouTube, I do a lot of career modes. I do a lot of player career modes. But this type of start is unprecedented. You know what? Sweat it, James. Madison, sweat it. Madison, sweat it. Robert Jones is ripping ALC, Earth apart, whatever their name is, apart. I always forget to do the celebration. But Robert Jones, oh my days, I gotta bump up the difficulty here. I really gotta bump up the difficulty. And I play in Legendary. I'm new to FIFA a bit, so I play on Legendary, but I think I gotta bump up the difficulty a bit here. And here's, oh my days, Robert Jones is making the run in there. Robert Jones might well have wonderful game, but here come Altage on the attack and he's offside there. Oh my days, Robert Jones. Like, how can you come into your debut in European competitions and score in your first 10 minutes you score? How is that a thing? And we've got Roma in our group, that's a big thing. And we've got 2 strikers who are above us in terms of rating. And we still get the nod in our first European game. And we've repaid the Gaffa's faith excellently. But here come they. They've attacked a bit since the goals. And yeah, Robin Jones, of course, not defending set pieces. Because he is 5'10", I think. 10 or 11. He's not going to defend set pieces, is he? He's just good enough than that. Not going to do that. But, I still can't think of anything better than that. The 2 goals that Robert Jones scored were just outrageous, and here's he again. Ooh, excellently. How good is Robert Jones here? Sweat it. Hat-trick, oh no! Robert Jones, he's kicking himself. For a second, my heart was in my mouth. For a second, I thought, oh my days, Robert Jones. Here, the second this happened, I thought Robert Jones has injured himself. And I was about to cry. But nothing much. Robert Jones is having his time. He's having his time wonderfully. European debut. Brace for Robert Jones. Excellently done. Here come ALC there. That's well attacked. Oh, Harvey Barnes went down awkwardly there. That was a bit awkward, to be honest. But Robert, what a game he's had. Like, what a lad Robert Jones is turning out to be. Like, I was saying that I have done a lot of player career modes off YouTube. I do a lot of them. But such a start. First month in the Premier League. Player of the month. This is unprecedented. It's just unprecedented. And here's Robert Jones for his hat-trick. This could be amazing. Oh, my days. Robert Jones. Oh, nah. That should have been it. That should have been the hat-trick. That should have been in the hat-trick for Robert Jones. Oh, they've won it back again. And here's Yuri Chilemans. Pass it on, Yuri. And Robert Jones. This is Robert Jones' favorite area. Bring it in, James. James Justin. Hat-trick hero. Robert Jones. Oh, my days. I skipped it by mistake, but hat-trick hero. How good is Robert Jones out there then? How good is Robert? And you know what, guys? I'm gonna jump to result just because I feel the difficulty I gotta bump it up a bit. But we still end up and Robert Jones gets substituted. I don't care much about that. Excellent performance from Robert Jones, a 10 on 10, a hat trick, wins Leicester the game. An excellent performance. I just can't stop praising the performance. Excellent from Robert Jones. There it is then, guys. Robert Jones into his 7th game of his career. Then he's played 6 matches. He scored 8 goals. Oh my days. And he's still starting. Oh sorry, I'll just bump up the difficulty. And he's still starting, which is a surprise, I would say, because there are just so many better and higher rated players at the club, and still Robert Jones gets the chance to play, which is just amazing for Robert Jones and his career. So he gets a chance to play, and he plays, and still now Weghorst came in as a substitution when I simmed that game up. I felt like I had to sim that game up because it was just getting a cheat code in there for Robert Jones. But he's that good. I can assure you he's gonna score goals at world class too. And I'm not that good a FIFA player. If you follow my career modes, you see that I'm not that good a FIFA player. I get beaten at legendary also. No, I got beaten at professional also. So I'm not that good a FIFA player. Everybody knows that. So this is the man, Robert Jones, a striker to watch out for. How good is Robert Jones, mate? How good is he? Just too good. And he's then, now, and forever. Robert Jones is there forever. What a player Robert Jones is. And guys, I want to tell you something. It's raining quite heavily outside, so you may hear some disturbance. And more than hearing some disturbance, my PS4 might switch off automatically because of low electricity. So just bear with me if we just see the episode till here. I can't help it. And here's Robert Jones. Oh, he's worked that wonderfully well, Robert. Here's Robert Jones. He's seen it back. Here's Robert Jones. He's still on the ball, Robert. Oh, just gets off the ball there. That was excellently done from Robert Jones, to be honest. And it's raining quite heavily out here then. I just can't tell you how heavy it's raining out here. But Brighton with Tariq Lamptey. What a player Tariq Lamptey is. But Brighton, come on here. I think Brendan Rodgers should just switch to a 2-striker formation, because that would give Jones more game time. But Jones is already having more game time. If he plays well, there's no doubt that he won't have game time. So yeah. And in Newcastle, and here's Robert Jones again. Oh, Robert Jones. Excellently done from Robert Jones. He can now go in. He can now ask for the ball. Oh my days. James Maddison. Robert Jones coming in. Coming in is Robert Jones. Oh my days. There were a few bicycle kicks moving around there. And Robert Jones, he's asking for the ball in there, Robert Jones. And that's well saved from the Brighton keeper, Ryan. And we move on, and it's raining heavily. Oh my days, mate. I've never seen it rain so heavy nowadays. And Robert Jones has turned the Brighton defenders. On. Robert Jones running across the team. Ooh, that shot had venom on that. That shot really had venom. And here's Robert Jones. He's gonna attack the set piece. He's telling Maddison to put it in for him again. Come on, Jimmy. Put it in for me. What are you doing? They just can't put it for Robert Jones at the moment. And here's Mac Allister, and pace setter. Oh my days, my English is ruined. Pace setter Robert Jones. Everybody's talking about him, and at this rate, well, he might also win the September Player of the Month. Why not? But the only thing is, because he's playing so much, the energy levels are just so high that I just can't train him. Because if I train him, asking for the ball. Come on! Look at him, he's like an octopus. That defender that Brighton have, Dan Burn, he's like an octopus. He's huge. Oh my days, someone mark Tariq Lamptey. Tariq Lamptey is ripping us apart. Tariq Lamptey is literally ripping us apart. On his own, he's ripping us apart. Just get the ball, NDD. Just get the ball, pass it to me, I'll see what has to be done next. Just do it. Just do it. He's done it. Okay, now here we go. Here we go. Here we go then. We are on the attack. Tielemans. What are you doing, Tielemans? You're just slowing the pace of the attack down. Robert Jones. Oh no. Oh, that one time. Guys, this is it from me for now. Now we're gonna meet next time for a better Robert Jones. So yeah, see you next time. Till then. Okay, bye bye. See you later.